Hey, it's Mr. Shrum, and I'm back with the second task. Task 1 measured pulse. Now we're measuring muscle fatigue. Okay, and it explains ATP. You read about that in the lesson previously. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's a form of energy obtained through cellular respiration in the presence of oxygen. And when you're doing very intense activities like exercise, oxygen decreases and the muscles perform anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic is without oxygen. And this occurs through fermentation of lactic acid. So we'll use the same materials as last time, except we add a stress ball or tennis ball. That can be an optional material as well. Part A is a lot like task 1, where you come up with a hypothesis and then plan for data collection. And in this activity, you're going to open your non-dominant hand. So let's say if you're right-handed, you use your right hand to write. The non-dominant hand would be your left. So we want to use our non-dominant hand and then squeeze into a tight fist as quickly as you can for 100 seconds, and then write down the number of squeezes every 10 seconds. If you have access to a ball, you can squeeze the ball with your non-dominant hand instead. I think that's a little easier to do. And how do you think the number of squeezes you can perform will change over the course of the experiment? Well, I hypothesize that over time, the muscles will get tired and you'll start feeling some type of burning sensation. So, if your muscles are getting tired, the number of times you squeeze the ball or your hand will likely decrease. Question 2 is the actual data collection phase. We have this table here, and for 100 seconds, you're measuring how many times you squeeze the ball within those 10-second intervals. So during the first 10 seconds, you're measuring how many times you can squeeze it. And then restarting at the next 10-second interval. And you also want to keep a mental note of when your hand starts to feel tired. And if you feel like you can no longer continue, just stop the activity and then write 0 next to the remaining readings. You don't want to hurt yourself. Here are the number of squeezes, for example, 21 in the first 10 seconds. And then as you see, the number of squeezes gradually reduces until 5. This person could only do 5 squeezes after 100 seconds of activity. Then we want to graph that information. We have number of squeezes and do a line graph. And that's number of squeezes versus time. So you see the gradual decrease in the number of squeezes. And then you want to measure your predictions against your results. How accurate were your predictions? And this person predicted 10 seconds. The last 10 seconds, they could do 10 squeezes, but they were only able to get 5. Question 3 asks, when did you notice lactic acid fermentation or that burning sensation in your muscle? How did you know? Well, when your muscles are not getting enough oxygen, they start using that lactic acid fermentation. And you can feel it usually. What do you think if you actually continued performing the experiment for a much longer period of time? If I had continued the experiment, I think that after a point, my muscles would have been too tired to squeeze the ball any longer without some rest. Do you think experiencing muscle fatigue is a way for the body to maintain homeostasis? Explain your reasoning. The example answer is yes. The body signals that the muscle is being taxed and needs rest to recover from the stress. Anytime you feel fatigued or tired, that is your body uh, uh, keying you, uh, telling you that you should probably not continue this activity unless you want to get hurt, right? When your body is experiencing stress, physical stress, your body wants to stop doing the thing that is causing it stress. Do you think the results of this experiment would differ if a different person did it? What individual factors would affect the person's result? Yes, a person can fatigue quicker or more slowly depending on their hand strength, for example. If their muscles are stronger or they're a rock climber, they more likely have a tendency to already use those muscles and tax those muscles. So the muscles are trained beforehand and they can handle more stress than an untrained person could. But if someone has arthritis, right, they're not going to be able to do the things that you could do right now. And that is the end of task 2. I'll stop this video and then switch to the next task.